Welcome everyone to another edition of the Allen Powell Show, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central, 6 out there on the West Coast with my man. Y'all know that brother Cliff Mason. Got a great show for y'all today, man. This brother's been messaging me and he want to discuss a lot. So it's just the two of us tonight. I'm gonna let you go buck wild tonight, dog.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Release the beast, man. Go release the beast, man. But we got a lot going on. Woj got suspended. He got suspended for some comments. Redskins are changing their name. We don't have a name yet, but we know it's coming. Westbrook tests positive for the virus, so it's another superstar that tests positive for the virus. We got all of that and more, but first we got to jump off with this story. LeBron will not wear a message on his jersey, and I thought that was a big story, and we got to talk about the reasons why you think that is. But he won't wear a message, and he wasn't involved on the names that was released. Mm-hmm. You know, he said it was okay. But he would not wear a message. So he's like the big social activist, you know, in this generation. So what are your thoughts about him saying, no, I would not wear it, and that whole situation?
So I wouldn't look too far into this. People are probably going to go down a bunch of rabbit holes and say, oh, now he's afraid of losing endorsements. He's kind of kowtowing to the powers that be as if he was an NFL player. The way I see it is, if this were month 1, 2, or maybe even 3 of the season, pre-All-Star break, LeBron would have a different reaction to it. We got to remember, when the playoffs come around, what does LeBron do? He turns off his IG. He doesn't go on Facebook. He's not on Twitter. So playoff LeBron is a different animal than regular season LeBron. So I think my interpretation of this is he doesn't want to have anything that's going to distract from his teammates. He doesn't want to have his teammates answer for any of his social justice activism in a press conference. I think for him, he's in basketball mode. And I'm no LeBron apologist, but that's how I see this. I don't see him as refusing to wear it for any other reason than trying to eliminate distractions.
I'm shocked by that because I didn't take it like that at all. And, you know, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan either, but I look at it as they were handed some names that they can wear. They wasn't consulted. He wasn't consulted for one. Number 2, they just gave them some names, you know, and said, these are your choices. This is what the NBA, the Players Association and the league agreed upon. So I think it's more of, I wasn't involved. Y'all just threw some names, and you're not going to just have me wear something that you think is okay. I'm going to wear what I think should be worn on my back. So I look at it like that. So Kyle Korver is going to wear like Black Lives Matter. And I have a list of the names that was agreed upon by the Players Association. So you got Black Lives Matters, of course. Mm-hmm. Say their names, vote, I Can't Breathe, Justice Now, say her name, CC Puede, I think it's like Spanish for Yes We Can, Liberation, See Us, Hear Us, Stand Up, Ally, Anti-Racism, I Am a Man, Speak Up, How Many More, Group Economics, Education Reform, and Mentor. So those were the options that they were given to wear on the back. So I look at it as because they were just given to him, that he chose not to. So what are your thoughts about that?
I don't think he's that vain. I don't think that LeBron's ego is so big that because he wasn't personally involved in the decision of what would be allowable to go on the back of the jersey, that he would say, I'm not going to participate because you didn't reach out to me personally. But it's an interesting perspective, though, the idea that, well, if we had went to LeBron, then maybe he would see it differently. I'm actually, after hearing this list, because I wasn't aware of this list.
Yeah,
a few of those I wouldn't wear, because to me, like, I am a man. Like, yeah, I love the sentiment a half a century ago, but to me, if I'm putting that on the back of my jersey, now I'm legitimizing this sentiment that I'm not a man, and I don't think LeBron and myself, like, none of us have to do anything to give white America a reason to believe that we're inferior. So to me, if I'm wearing I am a man on the back of my jersey, it's like, well, now I have to prove that I actually am worthy of being on this court. And that man don't have to prove to nobody, because he's done proved it and over and over and over again.
Right. But see, this is my thing. And Rosil says, leave LeBron alone. I'm not really messing with him. I'm just saying that they gave him some names to put on his back. And he like, no, I'm not taking that. Now, a little part of me says that, hey, if he was involved, maybe he would have wore something. But the fact that they did involve him, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
LeBron is the ultimate teammate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if the Lakers said, we're going to pick a singular phrase and we're all going to wear that one phrase, I can't see him not getting on board. If they all said, we're going to come out and we're going to say just Black Lives Matter on the back of our jersey. Him, Kuz, Rondo, everybody.
Right.
And he still said, I'm not going to wear that. Now that's a different conversation. Then something's going on. But the fact that he personally won't do it, I'm not going to look too far into it until I hear out of his mouth why he's deciding not to.
Well, he says, I don't beat down anybody who choose to put something on their back. But he said for his mission, he is not, he's not going to do it. But I just thought it was real interesting because I look at it like this. Take, for instance, Kyle Korver is going to wear Black Lives Matter on the back of his jersey.
Yeah.
With the movement going on, the things they're trying to get accomplished, and we had this discussion on this show before, with them playing basketball, will it be a distraction? A lot of people say, no, they can use the platform to move the movement even further. With the biggest name in the sports not doing this, does Kyle Korver, will it still hold the same weight of Kyle Korver doing it as of LeBron James?
No. And that's so LeBron James doing it would have been equivalent to Tom Brady doing it. Mm-hmm. LeBron not doing it. LeBron not doing it is disappointing, but you can't knock him because, as you acknowledge at the top of the show, I mean, the dude is the face of not just the NBA. He's the face of like activist NBA players. He is. He's always outspoken. He's always been on the right side of issues. And it's funny, as a basketball fan, the only knock we've had against this dude, outside of basketball prowess and skill, the knock we've had against him is the rollout of the decision was probably not in his best interest. But outside of that, the dude does everything the right way. He's a great dad. He donates to his kid. He does everything we want him to do. He can't do everything we want him to do when it comes to social activism, because essentially we can't keep holding people to new standards and new standards and new standards. I think he's done enough. I think he's done a lot. And anything that he does is just pretty much icing on the cake at this point.
I got you. I just look at it as, okay, he didn't do it, but then you got to look at, okay, is the cause bigger than you saying no? Like, okay, if you do it, will it push the movement further than saying, oh, I'm not going to do it for whatever reason you have? You know what I mean? Like the what you call it, the better good, or the overall big picture.
Yeah.
If he decides to do it, would it have been better for him to do it than not to do it? for the overall big picture.
Oh, for sure. To have the most important, so we're not just talking about the loudest voice, the biggest voice, the most popular voice. We're talking about the most important because he's the most influential. So to have the most influential voice participate in this type of action, I think it 100% is definitely better to have him do it than not do it. But at the end of the day, this dude's chasing ghosts. I think he wrote that one time, like, I'm chasing ghosts. And that's another conversation for another day, whether he's going to ultimately catch that ghost. But he's chasing ghosts. He's not worried about chasing any social justice warriors. That's not the ghost that he's chasing. So
the thing with me is, with LeBron, he's always the first one to kind of jump out there when something happens. He's jumping on social media, or he's wearing a shirt, or he's doing something. And for a time like this, I know he's done a lot. He's got the schools. He's been a model citizen off the court. Can't take that away from him. I always said, if you want to call him the GOAT off the court, you have no argument out of me.
Nope.
But in this situation, I am a little shocked that he's not going to wear something. And you say you're not looking that much into it, but if you look at LeBron, everything that he does is calculated. Everything. And I believe that he does like to control the narrative a lot. That's why he got the show that he has. That's why he makes sure, okay, I'm going to control my career. I'm going to go where I want to go. I'm going to pick the players that I want on my team.
Yep.
And so if you don't include me on this decision, then I might not want to do it because I want to have some say so on what's going on my back. That's just how I look at it. I'm just saying.
It's tough not, you bring up a good point because you said you were nice to him. He doesn't just pick his teammates. The dude gets to pick his coach, with the exception of Spoelstra in Miami. He gets to pick his coach. He gets to pick his executives. He gets to, so he's got a lot more power because we're probably like for 9 years of his career, he was the best player in the NBA. So he gets to do that. Maybe 9 is a little, that's maybe about 5 or 6 years, but there is a stretch where he was clearly the best player on the planet. So he's kind of built that clout to allow him to be able to pick those folks. But I'm not going to be that cynical. I hope that this decision was made purely because he doesn't want to be a distraction. But you know what? If he's the only one in the starting 5 for the Lakers that doesn't have a statement on the back of his jersey, that's going to be more distracting than if he did wear it. So I don't know how he digs himself out of this hole.
But you think by doing this is going to be a distraction to the playoffs? So okay, again. So now, what is more important? Is it the playoffs, winning a ship, or is it prolonging the movement? You know what I mean? Like a lot of people were saying, like, this is bigger than basketball. You know what I'm saying? And now it's starting to question, like, okay, is it really bigger than basketball?
You never heard LeBron say it's bigger than basketball. We're laymen. We think.
Okay, so let me ask you: Do you think in LeBron's eyes that the movement is bigger than winning the championship this year? Wow, the fact that you got to think about it. Wow.
We're talking about one of the top 10 greatest players to ever play. I think if we were in that position and we were trying to chase basketball immortality, we might view a whole lot of things differently. Whereas you and I'm a teacher. I'm never going to be one of the top 10 teachers that's ever taught. So I don't have to worry about these things. So I think I would see it in a different perspective.
We talking about a lot of ifs around here. We talking about what it is right now.
I say no. I don't think that LeBron would do like what Maya Moore did and jeopardize his career for the sake of the movement.
So, with all the stuff that he's doing, when it comes down to crunch time, if you had to put the pedal to the metal, gun to your head, you're saying LeBron would choose basketball over the movement.
Yeah, I know LeBron stands are going to be coming for me, but I say yes.
And listen, like we're not taking anything away from LeBron at all. Like I said, he got the schools, he got scholarships, everything that he's doing. But are you saying it's easy to do because, you know, he got the money, of course. He do it on his own terms. But when it's not on his own terms, then maybe he might not.
I don't think it's easy to do. I think he came from very tough economic struggles growing up. So now he's built an enterprise, and I think he's thinking about the wealth and being able to pass on his wealth to his kids and maybe his grandkids, and if he's lucky and his kids make good decisions, his great grandkids. So I don't think the decision's easy, because I think ultimately he knows that black folks are going to scrutinize every decision he makes, but it's the decision that I think he believes is in his best interest.
This is going to be interesting to watch. Like you said, I would love to. I'm going to be paying close attention, because I didn't even think about what you said. If all the players have something and he doesn't, I think that's going to be a story in itself. But you got Kyle Korver going to have some, JaVale McGee. Like, these are not household names. Like, we're going to see it, but it doesn't hold any clout as much as, like you say, a Tom Brady or LeBron James. That's when the needle moves. Yeah, is when those type of players have it. So it's going to be interesting to see. Are you okay with the list that was given to them? Do you think they even should have negotiated? Like, what are your thoughts about them negotiating what gets put on there?
For clarity, are the names in lieu of their last names, or it's in addition to?
I think it's in place, but I'm not for sure. I think it's in place of the name.
I don't think I like that. I don't know why they couldn't have James Black Lives Matter underneath that.
Or it might be like James, then the number, then the thing under the message under the number. It's possible that's it.
I like that the list is long. I mean, the list clearly can't be exhaustive. There's so many other phrases that could be on there, but I think it's a decent list. It's what we hear at most rallies. These are the types of some of the things you heard in there are things that we want. I don't think you said police reform. It'd be cool to have that, like hashtag police reform on that list. I think a lot of players would get behind wearing that.
I know that it said LeBron did have some ideas. So he did say that he had some ideas, but once again, he wasn't part of that decision. So that's, again, he acknowledged that he had some ideas. So that means that it's possible that he would have went forward if his ideas was heard and probably acted upon.
It's possible.
So I mean, it's a lot there. It's hard not to acknowledge that he had some ideas. Mm-hmm. They didn't really ask him his opinion about his ideas. He wasn't in the room, making the decision, and his ideas didn't get heard. And subsequently, he says, "Hey, I'm not going to do this. It's not really my mission. What y'all trying to do." So I don't know, man. I would love to hear the people's comments, their thoughts. Go ahead.
Whatever team you want to, I'm a Clippers fan. I will jump ship to a new team if a starting five comes out with this. One player has arrest thee, and another player has cops who, another player has killed, another player has Breonna Taylor. If you get a starting five that has that, so we see that at the start of the anthem, oh man, I'm sold. That's my team.
But I definitely don't think that's gonna happen because of the the negotiations.
That's dream.
Right. We're gonna move on, man, to a more of a lighter topic. But right. I felt that it had to be talked about. So a couple of NBA players then already broke the rules, left the bubble, and they left it for some food delivery. Now, Damian Lillard already said that, hey, the rules is not going to work. It's not going to work. They're going to break the rules. No, you can't keep these grown men inside of a bubble and expect them to stay in this bubble without leaving. Now, the players is King center Rashawn Holmes, and he has to be in quarantine. He left for some food delivery. He has to be in quarantine for some extra days. And now he has to get the test that goes the long swab up the nose.
Okay.
He has to do that test instead of the lighter test. But what are your thoughts about him leaving the bubble for food delivery?
So, to Damian Lillard's point, Yeah, you can force people to stay in the bubble. Like, what? Let's go back to LeBron. What is his primary focus right now? Winning a championship. If your goal is to win basketball games, you're not going to sacrifice that opportunity for a cheeseburger. It's okay to just use one of these food delivery services. I'm not going to give anyone a free commercial right now, but to use one of the delivery services and have them. But also, you've got some pretty luxury options right there at the hotel for you. Like, to me, you're already in Florida, which is handling this the worst. And you're in Orlando, which is within Florida, handling it at one of the worst cities within the state of Florida. Why would you want to expose yourself to someone in that place?
So real quick, the real food haven't arrived yet. I believe that when they first got over there, they having like boxed lunches. You know, it's not the top notch that you're speaking of right now. Once the season get going, they're going to have the chefs come in and they're going to have top notch food. But right now, they got like the boxed lunches. You know what I mean?
J.R. Smith with some macaroni and cheese. You two good for macaroni? You two good for macaroni? Have you had macaroni? Have y'all all had macaroni? Could you survive on macaroni for a few days?
But was it macaroni by itself?
I mean, even if it was, I'm sure if it was, get him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some macaroni and a Sprite, and you're good to go.
Hey, Dan DJ Jones said I give it a week and a half before they have to shut it down. That's facts. I think
people aren't thinking about, and I don't want to take this too off topic, but we're talking about, and I hate to stereotype, we're talking about NBA players.
Yeah.
Been pretty promiscuous in the history. So
come on, talk about it.
So if we're going to talk about the sexual promiscuity or the history of sexual promiscuity in the NBA, and they're in the hotbed center of pandemic, what do we think is going to happen, especially with these players leaving the bubble? They're going to go contract something from somebody that's nasty in Florida, and then they're going to bring it back to all the other players. So anytime you're just backing somebody down into the post, he dripped on you. Now you're infected. You're in practice. They're infected. They're infected. They're infected. I mean, it's crazy.
Hey, Victor LeGros says, bro, the players ain't trying to hit that. They should stay inside, but you know how those egos are. Hey, you brought up a great point, and I wanted to talk about it. I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna lie. Like, bro, you asking these players who probably gets it in on a regular basis sexually to be in a bubble for months without no female at all. No, what you call it? Companion. No, you're asking some of these might be, addicted.
The NBA could have and should have, if they didn't, they might, I don't know. They could have brought in some boxing legends or some current boxers to ask them how they do it, just to consult, because we know that boxers have to do this for 3 months leading up to major title bouts. Boxers don't engage sexually leading up to boxing matches. So if they can do it, I mean, I think other athletes can do it.
But how long up until the match? How long?
3 months.
3 months?
Can use their legs. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, well, but NBA players are different.
True.
NBA. I mean, you heard the stories about Wilt Chamberlain. Well, that brother had a count. Had a count.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to so the Kings center Rashawn Holmes. He left for some food delivery.
Okay.
Also, Houston player Bruno Caboclo. I don't know these guys that's leaving. I don't know him. Let's talk about this. So these guys, first of all, we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why they left. They don't have nothing to lose. They're probably not going to play anyway. So they're like, why should I be confined in this area? And I'm not going to play anyway. I'm going to go get the food that I like.
But they are. This is the thing. With people dropping out like flies, there is a high likelihood that all of these players are going to see court time, especially in those first 3 games as they prepare. Because isn't it like they only get like a 3-game tune-up to prep for the playoffs? Or I forget how many games it is, but they only get so many games, so they're going to get court time.
Right. I mean, yeah, true. But I'm just looking at these names. Like these names I never even heard of before. You know, like Rashawn Holmes, Bruno. Bruno? Have you ever heard the name Bruno in the NBA?
Not in the NBA. I remember Tyson
The
knocked
only
out.
Bruno I know is Bruno Mars.
And the dude Tyson knocked out.
Yes. But like these guys, you know, you don't know who these are. Victor Legros says no conjugal visits. So let me ask y'all, do you think that they would try to sneak a lady, to their room? Do you think that's going to happen?
I know it's happening. That's why I'm sure they probably partnered. If coaches were smart, they would put married players with unmarried players to try to hopefully they can mentor and shut some of that down. Because if they put single players, it's going to be a madhouse in those hotel rooms.
So real quick, while we talking about this, everybody who's tuning in, y'all just do me a favor. Hey, share this live with y'all people so they can tune in and comment. We got the comments coming in, but just share the video so y'all share the live so y'all audience can see it as well and they can comment on these topics. So Maurice Tisby said that's a boxer who was disciplined by their craft. So okay, so let's talk about that. Is he saying that a boxer is more disciplined than the NBA players?
Apparently, see, I grew up watching boxing with my father. I was under the impression that this was all boxers, but he's probably right. It's probably like the most disciplined boxers. I just assumed all boxers refuse to engage for the 3 months leading up to these fights. And if they can do it for 3 months, these players can handle it for the short time that they have to be in Orlando.
Okay. Victor Legron says Frank Bruno. That's the boxer?
Bruno. Yep, that's a dude. Tyson. It was like his first fight back after I think he got out of prison, and destroyed that dude. Yeah,
Victor Legron be on the stuff, man. He's knowledgeable like all across the board. I'm gonna definitely have to bring him back to the table. Hey, so listen. So Rashawn Holmes left the bubble for some food delivery.
Mm-hmm.
His mom got on Twitter, says the only time you cross the line is for my cooking. That's what she said. So she was on his head. She was on his head. So my question to the audience and to you is, what food will make you tempted to leave the bubble to go get if you couldn't get in the bubble? If you couldn't get in the bubble, what food will make you leave the bubble? Like, I gotta have it. I can't. I gotta have this.
Oh, I'm probably the worst person to ask because I'm actually fairly disciplined with my nutrition. But let's say I was on vacation and I was going to give myself a cheat week. Maybe some Five Guys Cajun fries.
Okay.
Fries, yeah.
Cajun fries for Cliff. He might lead a bubble. For some Cajun fries. Everybody who's tuning in, what is the food that you might be tempted to leave the bubble, to break the rules that you might just have to have? Because apparently Rashawn Holmes had to leave this bubble for this delivery. Now Victor Legron says chicken tacos. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. He say chicken. He say chicken tacos would be his.
Yeah,
I would probably say some wings, some hot wings. Might do it for me. If I cannot get it in the bubble where I'm at, the hot wings might have to be the choice.
I forget the name of the restaurant in the Portland airport. Best veggie burger on planet Earth. So if somebody could tell me they can get me a veggie burger from the Portland airport, I might leave a bubble to go pick that up.
Dan DJ Jones says bar taco or Shaw's Crab Shack. That's his food of choice that he would have to have. Shaw's Crab Shack. So there it is. I just think these guys was like, hey, look, man, I'm not gonna get I might get a little clock during the regular season, but hey, if I got a quarantine, I'm not gonna get a lot of clock in the playoffs. Hey, I'm 13, 14 on the roster, or 11 and 12 on the roster.
Yeah,
I'm going for mine. Now Rashawn Holmes actually said he accidentally left the bubble. Do you believe he accidentally left the bubble, or he lying?
You accidentally cheated. What you mean you accidentally left the bubble? That sounds dumb.
So apparently, I think they have like a line. It's some type of line,
like an actual physical line. We're not talking about like figurative like line.
It's like, hard to say. I don't know if it's a distance or if it's a line or. I thought it was
the brother knew he wasn't supposed to leave the hotel. You can leave to go to the facility to play, and you can go to your room. You didn't accidentally nothing.
Right. Hey,
that's foolish.
Yeah, it gets dumber as you keep going through the story. It gets dumber and dumber. But we're gonna move on to some more. So Rick Lebron says, bro, he can't be serious. Yes, that's exactly what he said, man. He said he accidentally did it. So who are we to say he lying?
He lied.
Who are we? Who are we? But you specifically messaged me and said, hey, we have to talk about the New York Knicks coaching search.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I almost forgot.
Why was it so adamantly on you to talk about the New York Knicks?
So I didn't think this was going to be a rundown. I'd have made a bigger list. I'm just going to list some names for you.
Okay.
Patrick Ewing. Brian Shaw.
Okay.
Mark Jackson.
Uh-huh.
That's just a few of the names of cats that deserve a right to be a head coach in the NBA. Patrick Ewing took that sorry team to the Eastern Conference Finals 15 years ago. I don't understand how he's not getting an interview for this job. Tom Thibodeau would be on his fourth franchise? How does Tom Thibodeau get to coach possibly a fourth team, but Patrick Ewing doesn't get to coach his first team? This dude gets to fail all over the globe or the country, but Patrick Ewing don't get a shot at one place that he was successful? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. He's been successful everywhere he's been, in Miami, at Georgetown, and when he played in New York, but he doesn't get an interview for this job?
Well, a lot of things that the Knicks do don't make sense. But I think the more egregious thing is you're going to go back around to the Mike Woodson train? He's back on the interview train. Like, Mike Woodson, I mean, I think he did a decent job, but I don't want to go down that road again if I'm a Knicks fan.
Mike Woodson's being interviewed so that they can save face and say that they interview candidates of color. Because if they wanted to give a candidate of color a legitimate chance, it would be – I don't know how Patrick Ewing is not the best candidate for this job. Am I missing something? Do you think somebody's a better candidate than Patrick Ewing?
Only one, and I say Mark Jackson. That's just me.
And I'm fine with that, because if not for Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr couldn't have come in and do what he did. He took what Mark Jackson built.
Thank you.
Mark Jackson built.
Thank you.
And won a championship. But we keep talking about these leagues not doing small symbolic gestures to appease us. We want legitimate change, real change. If black candidates are never going to have opportunities to be executives, to be coaches, then how is the league ever going to truly reach a point? And we know the NBA is doing a lot better than the NFL on these issues, but it doesn't make sense to me what do we have in terms of black coaches in the NBA? What do we have, 3? We got just one more than the NFL? I mean, what are we talking about? Well, 3 black coaches in this league? It's insanity. How are there no black candidates besides Mike Woodson for the Knicks job when you got one candidate who played for the Knicks, who'd love to be a head coach? He's done everything right for the past 15 years to position himself to be a coach. He's been an assistant everywhere. He's done all the grunt work. Every big that's worked with him. You talk to Dwight Howard, the work that Patrick Ewing did with him with Dwight Howard when he was in Orlando. He's done everything right for the past 15 years, and he still can't get a job. It doesn't make sense.
Well, he is the coach of Georgetown, right?
Who?
I think Patrick Ewing.
I think he would leave to be an NBA head coach.
Yeah. But Hey, a lot of people think that the Knicks won't be able to do anything until Dolan is gone. So, you know, it is what it is, I think. But
will be a good question one day for a podcast. Who's the worst owner, Dolan or I forget that clown's name in Washington?
I don't know his name.
The Washington football owner.
Oh, Daniel Snyder?
Daniel Snyder. Who is worse?
Oh, I think it's Dolan. I think it's Dolan by far.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's Dolan. I think it's harder for football than basketball for some reason. I think like you can look at somebody's pedigree, their record in basketball, and I think it's harder in football. It just seems harder to me to find a football coach than basketball. I think it's too much information out there not to get a good basketball coach.
Yeah.
That's just me. But one more basketball story, then we're gonna move on to some football. Adrian Wojnarowski, the ESPN analyst, top NBA analyst, reporter, got suspended for dropping an F-bomb in an email to a senator. And the senator made some comments about, the players being able to, wear the names on the back. He also made some comments about the China situation.
Yep.
But my whole issue with the senator is, he said, if you're going to let the players wear these messages on the jerseys, also wear things supporting police and those type of things. And so Woj sent them an email and said, F you. And, I think it was out of character for Woj. If you've been watching Woj all these years, that don't sound like Woj. But Dan DJ Jones says free Woj. What are your thoughts about that story, man?
A lot. They should also wear shirts that support police. First of all, there is no systemically oppressed police force in this country. So It's apples to wooden dressers. Like, what is he talking about? People keep trying to equate the Black Lives Matter movement and then respond with like a Blue Lives Matter. Like, what? Right. You weren't born blue. I was born with this skin. You weren't born with the badge on your chest, right? So the comparison is nonsensical. But beyond that, we have to be allowed to call out racism and xenophobia. If anybody goes to that senator's Twitter timeline, which I did, you'll see every other tweet is something negative about China. He is very adamant about including China in anything negative that he has to say. And he just kind of perpetuates that same kind of xenophobic, like just propaganda whenever he has an opportunity. So it's like you're suspending somebody for saying F you? Like what? The person occupying the White House referred to countries that many of our families come from as shithole countries. But Woj can't drop an F-bomb in an email? He wasn't on the air. He wasn't like what? Like, the email, it's pretty much one step above a text message. Have you ever dropped an F-bomb in a text? I mean, sometimes I put asterisks depending on who the party is, but it's like, I don't have a problem with it. And it's not because of the person that he sent it to. If he sent it to Kamala Harris, who I'm a fan of, he sent it to Kamala Harris, said F you, I'd hope you have a good reason. Should he get fired for it? I mean, it depends on what she's standing for. If she's standing for things that are probably on the right side of history, he probably shouldn't say F you. If she's standing for things that are anti-China and anything that has to do with anything Asian, let's demean it, then no, probably F you. So to me, I think things have to be placed in context. He was responding to a xenophobe who was questioning something that was nonsensical, and I think it was an appropriate response, or probably how I would have responded. Not with my personal email.
So ESPN says, that's unacceptable to a senator. And go ahead. This is your time.
Because he's a senator, he just now receives more deference. We're supposed to bow down to him because he's a senator. That just means a whole bunch of other clowns who are ill-informed cast a ballot for him. That doesn't make him special. It just means that he got elected. but a whole bunch of bad people been elected. George Wallace, wasn't elected official. Like, we've had some bad. Nixon was elected. Like, because he's a senator, that you can't curse at him. What does that mean?
That's my issue with ESPN. If they would have just said it's unacceptable, cool. But don't say it's unacceptable to a senator. Like, it's okay for him to say F you to me or you, but it's not okay to say F you to a senator. Like, what are they doing for you? Because that's what it seems like. Okay, oh no, this senator it must be doing something for ESPN. If that's the case, like you can't do that. Like, you can't treat people. That's the whole problem with the world. You cannot treat one person higher than a regular person. We are all supposed to be equal, and that's another problem that I got with the senator who says, "Oh, if you let the players wear this, then you have to put something supporting police officer." Why does it have to be either or? Why you can't let one group just thrive? It's like a child, like, oh, if that child got something, you got to give me something too. No, one child might need this. In our case, the Black community needs some support. Why can't people understand that? It's not against another group. Like, man, stop it. Y'all acting like some little kids. Like, you can't help that kid out.
It's because people like him either act like they don't know, or they genuinely, sadly, don't know the difference between equality and equity. Because that's what you just essentially outlined. Yeah, you could give kid A 5 coupons to do laundry. You can give kid B 5 coupons to do laundry. But if kid B has his own laundry room and kid A has to go down to a laundromat, one person might be in more need. So equality is not what you need in that instance. You need some equity. So you might give kid A 8 laundry coupons and kid B just gets 2 if you got 10 to distribute. But people don't want to hear that. They want to why not be equal? Because equal is not how we're going to prosper. We need equity, not equality.
Talk it. Dan DJ Jones says Disney about that bread. Republicans watch ESPN too. But I'm just saying, the normal Joe Blow watch ESPN. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but my argument is I watch ESPN too. So, is it okay for him to say F you to me or you? Like, it's ridiculous, and I don't understand it. Go ahead, Cliff.
And beyond that, and this is the problem, these issues shouldn't be partisan. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, you should not be xenophobic, regardless of your political affiliation. That's where I'm coming from. I don't care what his party is. I care that he's always saying things that are anti-China.
Yeah. And so Woj just suspended, I think for like a week or two. This situation brings me back to Jemele Hill. When she made the comments about Trump and end up leaving ESPN, end up being, I would say, fired. End up being fired. Yep. And it's just ridiculous, man. Like,
I watched ESPN for like 6 months after, because I watched, what was the name of the show with Michael Smith and Jemele Hill? Numbers Never Lie, something like that.
Oh, you're talking about before they had the Sports Center.
Those two had their own show.
Yeah. I remember.
I watched them. I either watched them or I listened to their podcast every single day. When they pushed her out, I was done with ESPN, because I was like, this is your best. This is probably your best anchor, not female, this is your best. And you pushed her out because she's speaking truth. Like, ESPN, man, like the dude said, they all about that bread. They're worried about losing folks. They're supposed to do what's right.
Like, I just don't understand. Some stuff seems like common sense, but I guess common sense ain't common to everybody. But I digress. We're gonna move on to some football news. I don't know. We didn't get a chance to get into it last time. Deshaun Jackson made some comments, got him fined, and he quoted, mentioned Adolf Hitler, and then he got in trouble. Julian Edelman came out, invited him to some, I think, a Holocaust museum or something like that. But What are your thoughts about the Deshaun Jackson situation?
Deshaun, and I can sum this up quickly. Deshaun Jackson had a stupid post.
Right.
And it's never advised or advisable to post or to quote Adolf Hitler, even though it was a misquote of all the humans that have ever lived, right? Besides Genghis Khan and some other terrible humans. But like Adolf Hitler, why would you want to quote him? So to me, it was like that. What are you trying to accomplish? That was dumb. The reaction of the Eagles, though, is maddening.
Talk about it.
So he said, or he wrote, essentially, if you break down what he's writing, he's actually talking. It was done inartfully. The message, if you try to understand what he was trying to say, again, it was inartfully done. But essentially, what he's talking about is black liberation. So I don't completely I don't kill Deshaun Jackson for the post. I just wish he had a PR person that can help him do a better job at crafting some of these messages. But to find this man after doing nothing when Riley Cooper said what he said at that concert.
Wait, just to get context. First, let me address Belinda Wise, baby. They fined him for conduct detrimental to the team. So that's number one. Number two, they did fine. I looked it up. They did fine Riley Cooper. So that's why I think they also fined Deshaun Jackson. But go ahead. Because I would say this. If it wasn't for everything that's going on right now, I could possibly see him getting released. He's not the Deshaun Jackson of old.
That's true.
I could see him being released, but because of everything that's going on, I feel like, hey, we got to let's do the same thing we did to Riley Cooper, so they can't say it was racist. It was racism involved.
And this is what kills me again, because the posts. So you had Deshaun Jackson posting some. You could call it anti-Semitic, or you could call it black liberation, or you could call it a mix of the two, just done very poorly. Or you could have Riley Cooper at a concert yelling the N-word at somebody in their face, and trying essentially attacking them. To me, those are not equal scenarios. Should they be punished the same way? No. But then you also that organization, I'm good with the Eagles. Yeah, they won a championship. Good for you. You got Meek Mill. Only thing good about the Eagles is Meek Mill. That's the only thing good about the Eagles. They're trash. Chip Kelly was a trash coach. He was a trash leader. If you want to put that,
I think he was a racist too.
Quote. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to dance around it. But the organization to me is racist. Not just Chip Kelly. It's there's so much differential treatment of players in that organization, dating back. It's I'm good.
Yeah, just in case people don't know who we was talking about with Riley Cooper, I think you kind of explained it, but for the people who really might not follow football that way, Riley Cooper, who was a white wide receiver, got caught on video yelling the N-word. They end up finding him, and then I think they try to send him to some type of treatment to get him help of some sorts. And then so Deshaun Jackson made his comments, and you had Julian Edelman coming out, inviting him to a museum. And so this is my thing. Why is it when Deshaun Jackson, make his boneheaded comments, they want to invite him to a museum, but I've never heard of no white players trying to go to an African American museum. Never. I've never heard a white person who made a boneheaded comment or whatever ever saying, oh, you know what, I messed up. Let me go to an African American museum and educate myself and learn some things. I've never heard that.
2 words: white supremacy. Because their mistakes, whether they be related to race or not, and they mostly are, generally are accepted as a gaffe. It was just a gaffe. And it just slides off the shoulder, because you're not going to hold people accountable for white supremacy. Now, you might hold them accountable for losing a football game. You fumble in the 4th quarter. Oh, we'll hold you accountable for that. You call someone an N-word at a concert? Slap him on the wrist. We need him catching those balls on Sundays. It's just a different. People don't see black trauma the same way they see other trauma.
And it's just horrible. Dan DJ Jones says it was a double dunk. He quoted Hitler and praised Farrakhan.
No, that's conflating. No, in that post he didn't praise Farrakhan.
Right.
Journalists that were bad journalists also connected him to Farrakhan because he had previously praised Farrakhan. But again, it's like, what's wrong with praising? I mean, I'm not gonna get into it. I think Farrakhan's done a lot. I'm no Farrakhan supporter, but I mean, I don't have a problem with somebody supporting Louis Farrakhan.
Right on. So it was. I was just baffled on the fact that now all of a sudden, like Julian Edelman wants to invite him to a museum, and you know that really got on my nerve, to be honest. Like, don't do that. No, none of these white players ever coming to a museum. Don't invite me to no museum.
Ever.
I get fined. I take my fine or whatever you want to say, and take my thing in the media, but don't invite me to no museum.
Did Drew Brees get invited to anywhere recently?
Thank you.
Anybody invite Drew Brees anywhere?
Thank you. And he apologized for being tone deaf and all this other stuff, but he didn't say, "Oh, you know what? Can somebody invite me to a museum? Oh, I'm just gonna go on my own." Like, that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about, man. It's bad. Even when you think progress is being made in 2020 and stuff is changing, it's still some stuff that don't change at all, man. And it's bad. So, but we're gonna move on, man. Hey, real quick, I got a day in the life of Al. I know, I don't know if you ever heard this segment before, but this is when I just tell you a random day in the life of Al, something strange, funny might have happened. So with all this pro-black that's going on, the wife has made a conscious effort to buy black more often, right? So she's been buying all these type of packages. So she bought some black deodorant, some black-owned deodorant. So we got this, but she said, hey, when you put it on, you got to rub it in. I said, what? Rub it in? Why I got to do this extra stuff? So my question is to everybody who might be buying black, what is the line that crosses the line that say, okay, look, I'm trying to support black, but I'm not going the extra mile because I haven't rubbed the deodorant in since I got it. Thank God that it's worked. I don't feel like I've stanked or been musty or anything, but I didn't rub it in. But is it a line that you won't cross to buy black, to support black? Like, what is the limit? Because I felt like in a microwave generation, in a convenience world, you have to make people want to be convenienced. You know what I mean? And if you got to do extra stuff to buy black, I think that's going to take away.
I've been trying to make a conscious effort also. I recently bought a box of toilet paper from a black-owned bamboo toilet paper company.
Okay, how did that go?
You said how'd it go?
How did it go? Like, what?
I mean, it's I'm loving it. It's actually the best toilet paper I've ever owned. I'm not just like no cap, like just so people go out and get it. But yeah, I mean, it works for me. I try to. The problem is a lot of the like businesses that I patronize, that I need to patronize. Like I have like a little mini gym now in my living room because quarantine. I'm not going back to any like real gyms. Well, now we can anyways in California. Yep. So I'm buying a lot of like used sports equipment from Play It Again Sports. I'd love to go to a sports store like owned by a black person, but there's none like in LA. Unless I just only buy it from black people on like OfferUp or on some of these mobile applications. But I don't know if there's a limit. I would go to a black owned restaurant in Portland. There was more. Well, I guess I can't say that. There's not more than LA, but
so let's talk about this toilet paper. So this toilet paper, if it had like some special directions, like to use this toilet paper, you got to squeeze it 5 times before you wipe. Like what's the limit? Like is that okay? Like, would you do it? Like, or you like, no, you know what? If I got to go through this, I'm just gonna go back to the regular toilet paper. Like, what is it?
If it was like rip off what you need and then rub them together like you're starting a campfire, I might say, nah, that's a bit much. But just short of that, if it was like put a few drops of water on it to soften it up, I'm good with that. If it was, anything else besides like if I got to go through like manual labor to use my toilet paper, I'm gonna do it.
Bro, if I gotta soften it up, like that might be too much for me. Like I'm not, bro. Everybody who's watching, y'all matter of fact, put down if you're buying black, what have you been buying black, and what's the line if they ask you to do something special with the thing that you bought black, would you do it or what's the limit? I want to know the limit. What's the line that you won't cross with your black product that you bought? Go ahead.
So I've been wanting some. There's nice T-shirts. I'll see these like new designers come up on IG, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check that out. Thinking, oh, it'll be like $28, $30. I go on there, it's like $45. It's like, yeah, I'm not paying $45 for a T-shirt. Like,
or black.
I'm trying to buy black, but I'm not trying to go broke buying black. Like, what's going on? $45 for a T-shirt? Like, you playing? Come on.
That's good, man. That's good. So look. Hey, y'all continue to comment. I want to see some of y'all comments. I want y'all to come to church with me real quick. The scripture for today is Proverbs 16:3. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So this was something that I thought was good because I think a lot of times we just be trying to do stuff on our own merit and it'll fall by the wayside or it won't do what it's supposed to do. It won't succeed. Mm-hmm. And I think when you put God in front of it, put him first, and he will establish your plans. And I look at establish your plans, he will give you strategies on how to work it, and make it successful. So bring it to God and let him direct your path. So Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So I think that's a good scripture for all the business owners. Any ideas that you might have, study that scripture, look into it, all the different versions, and I think it will help you out. Before we get up out of here, I always want y'all to subscribe to the Allen Powell's YouTube page. I'm gonna be dropping. I think it might be some content on there that you've never seen before. Follow us, like us, review our page on Facebook. If you like the show, give us a review. I'd like to hear what y'all thoughts. Follow us on Instagram. The merch is for sale. Y'all see the hat. Y'all see the shirts. All colors. You can mix and match colors. All colors we have. Jerseys we have as well. Basketball and baseball. If you got a business you want to advertise, hey, the black businesses, hey, get on the show. Have an interview. Get your logo on here. All of that. Tell the people what you got to offer. Check us out on podcasts if you miss any of the live show on all podcast outlets. Follow us on Snapchat, Twitter, like we're everywhere. So thank you again, Cliff, for holding us down in LA, brother.
Glad to do it whenever I can.
Yes, sir. We're gonna keep it moving, man. So look, we will see y'all next week. I will holler at y'all. Peace out.